The issue picks up where Issue 8 ended, with Doc poised to eradicate Ghost Peter from his mind using the Neuralytic scanner he was given by Cardiac. We see a representation of Doc's mind where the memories of Peter have coalesced into a person. Unable to erase the memories from outside, Doc symbolically decides to enter his mind to deal with the Peter entity. Now that Doc is within his domain, Peter happily uses the memories of his friends and family to subdue Ock. But like always planning ahead, Doc calls forth Peter's fears and nightmares in the form of all of Peter's old villains. A desolate Peter watches as the memories of his loved ones are erased, and as he struggles in despair to remember the name of Uncle Ben, Peter realizes that he is not just Peter Parker, he is Spider-Man. With Peter's transformation, the fight begins anew, this time with Doc on the defensive. Eventually cornered, Ock is given a final chance by Spider-Man to do the responsible thing and surrender. Doc seems to eternally debate the responsible course of action, eventually deciding that the responsible action is actually to protect the world as the superior Spider-Man. With Doc's transformation, the fight continues again. Peter questions Doc's actions as Spider-Man, while Doc merely implies he need not be nice to succeed. Eventually, Doc lands a heavy blow as he points out a moment of Peter's hypocrisy. Last issue, Ghost Peter had momentarily stood in the way of Doc performing a surgery that saved a young girl's life. A troubled Peter admits to the moment of weakness, but is already too late. Doc has won. As the mind wipe progresses, Peter slowly disappears until Doc is finally free.
So Peter is basically defeated again. It's like ASM 700 all over again. Just soul crushing.
No. This was an issue about hope. Doc Ock striving to keep Peter's body, and he succeeds.
Were you at all upset though that it was very similar to ASM 700, where it's like it's Peter or Rock who's gonna win?
No, I was not upset at the end. I was actually pleasantly surprised. I expected Peter to be back in some way, or Peter to succeed in some way, but he doesn't. And I'm happy. I want Doc Ock to get a little bit more time as Spider-Man and really get some more cool Doc Ock stories before we go back to Peter. Because we both know it's an eventuality.
It is an eventuality. I think maybe part of the reason I'm upset is I just love Peter Parker so much. I actually really have nothing against Doc Ock as Spider-Man.
Their fight scene was really cool.
Oh, definitely. I loved how it was like a memory battle, and like Peter got all his friends and family to like hold Doc Ock down, but then Doc Ock got all the villains to hold Peter down. And then when they started ripping off their skin,
yeah,
like Peter rips his off, becomes the Amazing Spider-Man, and he's like beating on Doc Ock, and then Ock rips off his skin. He's like, I'm the superior Spider-Man.
It was kind of cliche, that symbolism of like, I'm not just Peter Parker, I'm Spider-Man. But it was also very fitting because, you know, in the head it's all about symbolism. The fight really came down to that too, because they talked about responsibility in the end, and that's what Spider-Man's all about and what it means. This was just as much a fight between Peter and Doc as it was between, I guess, the philosophy behind the two different Spider-Mans. Peter has always been the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and Doc kind of gets in his face and says, that's not the only way you can do this. You don't have to be nice to everyone to succeed and be responsible.
Yeah, it was a very creative way to kind of visualize that.
Another important aspect to the responsibility debate they have is that Peter actually seemed to succumb to temptation and not do the responsible thing than the previous issue.
In what sense, though? Like, where he tried to get his body back? I mean, the body's rightfully his.
The body is rightfully his, but Doc is referring to the point where he's about to do surgery on the little girl and save her life, and Peter tries to sort of fight that.
But Peter didn't screw it up, and the girl didn't die, so...
No, but he tried to fight it as much as he could, and he couldn't really fight it because Doc realized something was wrong and he was actively working against it. Doc sort of gets in his head and points out that it wasn't just about Peter fearing that Doc would mess up. It was more about if Doc succeeded, he would be able to maybe get rid of the Peter that's in his head.
I don't think it's fair, though, for Doc to take the moral high ground in any sense. Because even though I think the thing that's bugged me most about Doc Ock since Amazing Spider-Man number 700 is he promised a dying Peter that he was leaving him he was leaving with a hero still in Spider-Man's body. But I think Doc Ock has really showed he's not a true hero.
I think that's the exact opposite of what this issue is trying to say, that you can be a hero in multiple ways.
I don't think that's true though. I mean, another major theme of Superior Spider-Man is like, do people have the ability to change? Can Octavius become a better person? And like, it really goes back and forth. So in this issue, you think Doc showed that he can be a better person?
I don't know if he showed that he can be a better person. It depends on how you think you're being a better person. Doc is clearly willing to help people more than he ever was before. I think that's a definite change. But Peter, once again, sort of offers Doc an out by saying, hey, do the right thing. Give me my body back. And he doesn't. And I don't think that's necessarily the wrong thing in that situation either. Just the way Peter was fighting for self-preservation, Doc is also fighting for self-preservation in that way. And it's not
Like,
like...
Doc is seriously crossing a line. He kills Peter Parker and steals his body.
He did, right? In this scenario, in this issue, we don't even know if the Peter that's there, if it's even really Peter.
Yeah, we brought that up before in previous issues. Like, what truly is Peter? If it's just a, recreation of his memories, is that really him? It's hard to say. Speaking of Peter's memories, though, they seem to be destroyed in this issue. So moving forward, does that mean we can? Do you think that means we can expect Ock to no longer have that Peter memory bank to fall back on?
I don't think he will. I mean, otherwise this whole story really wouldn't make sense. Though I think it will really show us how much Doc has actually changed. Without Peter's influence there and his memories to kind of always remind him that, hey, he was always nice to this guy. It'll show us if Doc actually will completely help people without any of Peter's influence.
Also, when it comes to not having Peter's memories, I think that could kind of hurt him, in his personal relationship, since he won't remember details that are probably important. And on top of that, he might lose some like training type things, like Shang-Chi and his Kung Fu. If you can't pair that with the Spider Sense anymore, that could greatly weaken him. So as a grade for Superior Spider-Man number 9, what would you give it?
I know you're going to disagree, but I'm going to give this issue a 5 out of 5.
Wow.
Because I am just so happy that Doc gets to continue as Spider-Man. I think Peter should have a much harder time coming back. I mean, it's arguable if he got a good send-off. I think he should at least get a really good resurrection. I hope this doesn't turn around next issue and Peter finds another way back, because that'd just be a massive slap in my face. But hopefully it's going to be a little while longer before Peter returns.
I'm going to go ahead and give this issue a 3 out of 5. It maybe deserves a little bit higher, but I love Peter so much, I feel like I got to give it a 3 on principle. And I really felt like this issue was just kind of a rehash of Amazing Spider-Man number 700, really just salting the wounds.
Thanks for watching B3 Comics' review of Superior Spider-Man number 9. Before we go, we have a question for you.
Now that Ghost Peter's gone, it seems kind of like the obvious route for Peter Parker's return is also gone. How is he going to be able to get back now, and when?
If only we had a Lazarus pit, right?
Leave your answer below in the comments, and thanks for watching our videos. Thanks!